third time at the Apollo Theater.
Kicking it with Notorious K. We gon' vibe in the glorious way. In the glorious way. Kicking it with Notorious K. We gon' vibe and have a glorious day. Right here in the A. Kicking it with Notorious K. We gon' vibe in the glorious way. In the glorious way. Kicking it with Notorious K. We gon' vibe and have a glorious day. Right here in the A. Running through these little streets all day. Showing love, that's the A-Town way. That's the A-Town way. Smoking blunts with my peeps all day. Bitches young in WA. From 5 to 6, just a piece of your day. Come and chill with your boy NK. Me and my crew sending news your way. From east to west, north to south, we in the streets all day. From hot topics to gossip to hot news. He got people out here blessing them, yeah, he hot too. The gang chose me and yeah, I do. Used to be the underdog. What's up, ATL? We back in here again on a glorious day. Happy Thursday. Pre-Cinco de Mayo. It's your boy, Notorious K. I am the Notorious K. You can find me on Instagram at Notorious K. And I'm going to pass it over to my beautiful co-host so that she can introduce herself. How you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, people? It's Thursday. This your girl, Sean. You can check me out on everything Sean Denise and all other handles from there.
Okay, ATL. Today, I'm going to give you a quick little update on a situation about the transgender Coco. The 17-year-old turned himself in on behalf of her death. He was charged with aggravated assault. He was charged with murder and a possession of a firearm. Now, the police are saying that they don't think that this incident was a targeted incident based upon the individual's sexuality. But my thing is this. Oh, and by the way, she was killed on MLK Drive and H.E. Holmes Drive, not too far away from where the other transgender was killed that I spoke to you about a couple of weeks ago. And my thing is this. Even though they keep saying that they don't think that these are not direct incidents towards them because of their sexuality, I don't believe that. Like, it's just something about, because it's just like, ooh, if these people are not, if they're not bothering you, and from my understanding, because there hasn't been any other reasons why that I'm sure of. Have you heard anything?
I haven't, but I was wondering, was it a relationship there, and maybe somebody found out?
That's something I was thinking about too. Like, were they messing around and stuff like that? But even with that, sometimes I go to question like, how do you not know though? Like, I say, even for myself, I have a lot of friends of all kinds, and my thing is, it's like, I'm not saying it like that because there are some pretty transgender women out there. Right. It's just that in some situations, it's like I just can't possibly believe that you don't know. Like, I feel like we need a better answer. Like, I feel like these men need to be held at more of an accountability with themselves when it comes to these particular situations.
So I kind of agree with you there, but then here's another thing. Like, in this case, this young man turned himself in. What if he did know, but maybe his peers didn't know that he date transgender? And just from social media, I be on this ratchet app called Bigo, so I see a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the transgenders, and not saying that this is what happened, because nobody deserves to have their life taken at the hands of somebody else.
I agree. Absolutely.
A God type thing. But what if this transgender was maybe threatening to tell, or it's just so many ways to look at it.
Good point too. I really would like to know.
Yeah, I wonder
the details.
What a young man
what I'm
say
saying.
What happened.
I agree with you
You kind of actually got me at a point where I'm like, you get what I'm saying? It's like anything could be argued with this particular situation. I just hate that it ended with
somebody getting their life
someone getting their life taken because of their lifestyle, if that was the case.
Y'all feel free to call in and tell us what y'all think.
And by the way, the call-in number is
470-251-4707.
Okay, so moving on to our next topic. What do you think about the mass shooting that occurred on yesterday? That was crazy, right?
That was real crazy.
Like,
I was really kind of out of the loop, but I do see that he was captured.
Yeah, I did. After long hours, you get what I'm saying? Because from my understanding, it started at Northside Hospital, and the individual, he shot about 5 people. One died. She actually worked for the CDC. Yeah, I found out she actually worked for the CDC. And first off, before I go into this story any deep, my heart goes out to all the family members, including his mother, because you have to imagine, like I God only could imagine how his mother felt. You know, like that's her son.
Right.
She came there with him. You know, like she didn't ask to be a part of that.
So what's the background? Was he going for a doctor's visit?
Well, it was said that he suffered with the mental illness, kind of like how we talked about a couple of weeks on our episode. A couple of weeks ago on our episode, we talked about how the we're gonna go to the video in a second though.
Okay.
We talked about how he you know, like when people have mental illnesses, we need to kind of figure out a way to kind of deal with those types of situations. But from my understanding, he did not get the medicine that he, you know, requested. And he flipped out from there and went floor to floor to shooting people. Actually, we have a video of the story.
Wow.
Huge sigh of relief tonight. This is after authorities say just moments ago they have found the suspected shooter and they have taken him into custody. This ends a tense 8-hour-long manhunt that started after he opened fire in Atlanta's busy Midtown neighborhood inside a medical facility linked to a local hospital. Here's a look at that suspect, who has been identified as 24-year-old Dion Patterson. These surveillance photos released by police show Patterson today wearing a mask and a bag across his chest. Now, police were called to the North Side Medical Building shortly after noon local time on reports of an active shooter. The scene was chaotic, to say the least. Now, Atlanta's police chief says a 39-year-old woman was pronounced dead at the scene inside a waiting room. This is inside that medical facility where the shooting happened. 4 other women were injured, most of them critically. Nurses and doctors there seen hugging outside and helping a patient. Now, here's Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens prior to tonight's capture.
We are dealing with someone that is armed and dangerous. This is a deadly situation. This individual has just indeed conducted an act that we want to make sure that you know that if you see him, do not approach. You are to call 911.
All I see was police cars and SWAT, and everybody's just pulling up, back to back.
Now, soon after the shooting, officials say that suspect carjacked someone. That vehicle was eventually recovered. The U.S. Coast Guard said Patterson joined in 2018 and was discharged from active duty in January. And Patterson's mother has been talking to police. She says that her son has been dealing with some mental health issues recently and instability from medication she says he received from the Veterans Affairs Health System that he began taking on Friday, just a few days ago. Now, about those victims that are now fighting for their lives tonight, they range in age, again, all women from 25 to 71 years old. We're hoping to learn more in a press conference from Atlanta officials that's set to start now any minute, because they didn't announce where they took him into custody.
Yeah, a lot of new questions we've got answers to, brother.
Now, that bothered me. That bothered me for a couple of different reasons, because one, all of those individuals were women.
Yeah.
A lot of women are being harmed at the hands of men. Systematic, something is wrong with that. It's like we all come from a woman. You get what I'm saying? This is despite what we go through, despite how you may feel, we all came from a woman. So it's like, how can you hate? It's one of our biggest protectors. You know, like the woman. I feel like it's the man's biggest protector, but yet we tear them down the most. That is really disturbing to me.
It is. And the crazy part about it is, it's already documented that he has a mental illness, so he'll probably just get a slap on the wrist and get his medication, and then we just have to pray that he stay on his medication.
You know, the thing that really bothers me about that too is he's a former U.S. Coast Guard, and my thing with this is it's kind of like with the football players. They know that these people are impacted severely, whether it's, you know, direct impact, direct trauma, or just mental trauma. And it goes back to what I was saying about we first off, we need to take accountability. We know the feeling when something isn't right with us.
With ourselves,
we need to get we all, like, my mom put me in therapy when I was younger. I used to fight against it. Like, I really hated going to those therapy sessions. But as an adult, I'm one of those people at the time, like, when you come to me and you tell me something, due to my natural personality, I brush it off. But it's not that I brush it off in the sense of, oh, I don't want to hear that. I put it in a file. And I'm like, okay, although I feel like this doesn't apply to me now, it will. And with therapy, that's one of those things. I feel like at 31, I'm just now learning to tap into those things that I was taught in therapy, just as far as how to work on my anger, how to deal with situations, how to have a conversation. I feel like one thing that I do want to work on, I want to work on listening. I want to work on my patience. You know, I feel like due to genes, my hereditary genes, I don't have the most patience.
You think that's hereditary?
Yeah, I mean, because it's like my mom is like that. You know, my grandmother's like that. You know, like they don't have any patience. My aunties is like that. You know, like the women in my family, they don't have any patience. You know, and they get upset easy. You get what I'm saying? And some of them, you get what I'm saying, when with talking, it's like the over talking thing. You get what I'm saying? So I'm learning to listen more, but I'm learning to let myself be heard. I feel like with that particular, and I'm gonna end up back with the point with this, but I feel like when you feel like you're not being heard, you know, you practice not saying much, and you start the whole thing's in, and I don't want to do that. I want to be heard, but I also want to listen. And to do that, it takes for me to be quiet, you get what I'm saying, and to receive.
And in that same token that you said that, it may not be that you're not being heard. It may be that that other person has a problem with listening. So while you're learning to be heard, they're learning to listen, and vice versa.
I feel like that's where the patient part is coming in.
Yeah, so that's where the patient part come in there with both parties. Like, the first step to recovery is to come out of denial and admit that you have an issue with certain things, and you already did that, so you well on your way.
Amen.
So all you gotta do is just practice it.
And like with my anger, for instance, to just make comparisons with this particular situation, I realized that I do have a really bad attitude. Like when I'm upset, I'm upset. Like I could go there. So I hold a lot of things in, but the problem with that is once I'm
You
like at that
explode.
wit's end, I explode, and then it's like so much negative feedback that comes from it, but it's just like I feel like the downside to that, I'm such a good person, and
Everybody don't see the
it's
build
like
up, they just see the explosion.
yeah, and I feel like that's been a part of my journey growing up. You know, like I was labeled as this angry person when it's like, no, I'm not angry. Yeah, I'm human. You know, I get upset, but I don't like to nitpick about everything. I'm one of those people that I do feel like some things are so small. It's like, it's so small to me, I don't even feel like I need to talk about it.
But
So,
sometimes you have to, because small things become big things. And see me,
okay.
I'm the opposite, because I make an issue. If it bothers me, I make an issue out of it. I don't care how small it
Okay,
is.
okay.
Because I feel like it's small. If I keep letting you do small things, then guess what? You're going to start doing big things. When I could have stopped it at the small things.
You're right. Like
So if
hearing
it
from
bother
you,
you, then you speak on it.
I think the problem is with me. I really don't like confrontation.
Me either, but
And it's only because it's the Taurus in me. I don't like confrontation because I know
you
I'm
explode.
gonna blow up.
I know.
Because
I know a lot
I'm
of Tauruses.
and I'm really I'm a no nonsense type of person. So my natural demeanor is bitch face, and it's like, but I could be happy. I could be like, I'm happy now, but it's like my expressions don't always match up with that, So I'm always labeled like the angry bird, and my opinions are strong, like they're so strong to you. You might look like, well, what the fuck you get what I'm saying? Like, well, what you trying to say? Or what you mean? But it's like, no, I'm seriously not being funny. It's just that I have a strong way of delivering how I feel, because especially now, because like with the whole bullying thing and being jumped on, just things that I've dealt with, it's really just made me like, like my sometimes my defense is, just a bit up because I don't want to be played with.
You don't know, which way
so,
you coming from.
Yeah, so I definitely shout out to my mom. I thank my mom, to get back to the point of that story, for getting me the adequate attention that I need. And even as an adult, I would probably consider going to therapy just to continue to further work on my anger. And I would recommend that to anybody. It's like, it's nothing wrong with
Therapy.
It's
I
nothing,
never been, but I sometimes say that I would go to therapy just
to have somebody that you don't know, that
that's,
can't judge you.
Yes.
And as an adult, I can respect that more, because I feel like I'm one of those people. You can talk to me about anything, and I can give some of the best advice, but I get the shittiest advice. And I don't really feel like that support or the loyalty is the same when I'm having to speak to other people about my problems.
Right.
It's like, it's just kind of like a double standard in a sense. It's like,
and that come in with your trusting people as well.
I don't really trust people.
Right.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I've been crossed a lot. I've called a lot of people friends, and my mom used to always get on me about that. Let me tell it, growing up, everybody was my friend. Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend every other day. And
I
these
used to tell my
people
kids
used to jump on me and all types of stuff, set me up, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just really crazy. I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
Know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like even with that, and I'm glad that you made that point. My mom, she used to tell me that a lot. Like, these people ain't your friend. I feel like we should listen to that. I feel like now as an adult, I understand when my mom look at me and say, that bitch ain't your friend.
Yeah.
I used to go so hard, literally, with my mom. Like, you don't know. You just being evil. You get what I'm saying? And just as hard as I come at her, these people do me just as dirty, just as hard.
Everybody who my mama have warned me about, and it's only been 1 or 2 people, she was correct.
That's crazy.
Yep, she was correct.
That is so crazy.
But like you say, you don't see it. Because I'm the type of person, and I was telling that to somebody today that asked me, like, what was my toxic trait? And my toxic trait is I give people more chances than they deserve. Because I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I always want to look at it like,
I want to always see the good in
like,
people.
well, nah, maybe they ain't mean it that way.
Yes.
Maybe it was just this.
God.
When you know, when you know in your heart of heart, like, no, the bitch meant everything. Like, no, maybe it was just me, because I did such and such. But yeah,
I like that you touch bases on that, because for me, I'm that person, and I'm gonna say this: I'm no victim, you know, and I'm not perfect. I have my share of dirt, you know, but I feel like I relate to that part of the totem pole when it comes down to feeling like, you know, like something is off, and I'm always being fed, oh, well, you know, you tripping, and you know I'm not tripping. I feel like we as people, God gives us this thing called common sense, and it's really up to us to use like that gut feeling that you feel when you walk into a room full of people and they get quiet, you know, and you feel like all those people were just sitting there talking about, like, that's real.
And that ain't the room you supposed to be
in. Get those feelings a lot, and I feel like I've been made to be painted out to be crazy just because I'm in tune with that feeling. Like, oh, you tripping, or you think too deep into it. It's like, no, bitch, I'm not thinking too deep. Like, I don't feel like you think I'm thinking enough into this situation. Like, I know how it feels to have people playing in my face. It's like people been doing that all my life. It's like I've been hated on, I've been discriminated against, I've been plotted against. You know, I'm the type of person, I'll give you the skin off my back, you know, and off my bones, you know, if I could.
Right.
It's like, I think I had to realize that it's something in me, and it took for someone who I considered a friend. I consider this individual, this young lady, a friend of mine growing up, you know, and you know, like we went through so many different situations and scenarios with each other, back and forth and things like that. But just to end up getting into it at the last job that we was at. But something that she said to me before we got to that point, she told me, you know, like how she always admired these things about me, and you know, like how, you know, she felt some type of way because of, you know, just how great, you know, my life was, and when we was teenagers. And I sit here, and a lot of times I give my mama flack about certain things involving us, you know, like when you heard me bring up the point, like, oh, okay, well, you know, we didn't wear name brand clothes and stuff like that, or we just, you know, just about the simplest things. But I never really take the time to realize, like, it made those things that may not have seemed like much to me, it was everything to those people that was jumping on me, and that was hating on me, because those people could see what I could not see today.
And
I got a light.
Seen the love that you get from your mama as opposed to a designer shirt. They wanted the love. They could care less about the designer shirt. So it's always like something else to it when you look.
It's the love. It's the respect.
Yeah.
It's
the whole relationship, the bond.
it's kind of like how Whitney used to say. I feel like sometimes I really did not realize my own strength. You know, like my own worth, and I want to take this time, you know, and going forward, you know, to just put that time into me. I feel like at 31, this time is for me. I give so much to friendships. I've given so much to situations, you know, that didn't mean me any good, jobs and stuff. I'm in a place in my life where I don't want to settle. I want everything that, like, I run into people from my past that tell me like, yo, you know, I remember you used to say you wanted to do this and you wanted to do that, and you know, even though I ain't even reaped the benefits of a lot of this stuff that I'm doing, it's just the reminders of these people telling me, I remember when we was kids and you used to talk about you wanted to do that stuff, and to see you actually doing that stuff, like, these people look at me like I have that $1 million that I'm working for. You get what I'm saying? These people respect me like I have those things, and I feel like I want to live up to that. I want that. You know, so this moment and this opportunity, you know, is about me. You get what I'm saying? It's not about, you know, trying to make this person happy. Like, I'm happy to be where we are right now. Right. You know, I'm blessed that God, you know, brought us here. You know, God, you know, allowed us to meet each other. You know, like, I've been watching you since, I want to say, like, what, 2014, somewhere up in there, when I first met you. I remember you was doing hair, and stuff like that. And I've always watched you. I watch a lot of people, and honestly, I always just look and tell myself, one day I have $1,000,001 $1 million ideas ready to go. I can assure you of that. It's like, and this is just the beginning. We I wouldn't even say this is the surface yet. Yeah. We ain't even hit, you know, like, ground yet. Right. Where I'm about to get ready to take this, but we're about to go so far with what we're about to do, and I'm happy to have you. You know, I'm happy to have Jack. You know, I'm blessed that God put me around great people, and that God is surrounding me around great people, because for so long I've been around so much negative energy. I've been in such a negative space, and I, you know, like, sometimes I have my days where I just be like, you know what, I just really just want to just throw in the towel, you know, with this, because it gets tired. My motto for that, and that's with anything. When you have those days where you want to throw in the towel, and you know it's something that's beneficial and something that's gonna work out for you, that's when you go harder. You probably seen me post plenty of times, and I appreciate that. On the days that you don't feel like it, that's when you make it your business to do it. That's with anything. Me sitting up here looking at myself now on this camera. Last year this time I had dropped so many pounds. It got cold. I started back eating. I'm like, I fell off. And I have been doing stuff in the background. Been to the track a couple of times this week. I know. Yeah, so you know, it's like anything that you know that you want to do on the days you don't feel like it, that's when you go the hardest. That's when you go. I feel like one of the things that inspired me was watching, you know, you even, like, when you first branched off and you started doing your treats and stuff like that, and then you moved into your, like, the alcoholic kind of like desserts and stuff like. I watched all that stuff, and every time I see people that I know just going after that, it's that extra strength, like, this is the way it's supposed to be. You get what I'm saying? And you know what? On the flip side, you look at me for somewhat encouragement, and I don't feel like I'm doing enough. You are. So now I'm looking at doing so much, other people, and I appreciate that, because to me, I feel just how you feel. So it's almost like,
how you said a minute ago, you can get the best advice, but then when it comes to taking that advice, it's kind of like,
let me tell you something. You can, my co-host, like, my TT, she does hair, amazing hair. She got a treat business. You get what I'm saying? She got a Fat Like Me boutique. You get what I'm saying?
Much.
She's, the definition of your everyday woman. You know, you got your reels that you do with the clothing and stuff like that. And every time when I look at you, when I look at your content, I say to myself, you represent the everyday woman. You know, like you work, you doing your business thing.
I try. And like wife. You said, I ain't perfect by far. I have my flaws.
I feel like I definitely want people to understand it, because I feel like people live in this world.
People look at social media and the internet, and they think that because you're this person and you do this or you do that you're perfect. Like, no, I'm far from perfect. I just don't show the days when I'm laying on my face praying, because
that's what
everything
I feel like they want to see. I feel like that's the
but
problem.
Everything ain't for everybody. Those moments are sacred. Like, I always make a joke. Like, if you got time enough to press the live button to cry, you thought about it. In those moments, I don't have time to press the live button. That's my moment. That's my personal moment.
Yeah,
and
how I feel.
I dust myself off, and I get back up.
I very rarely cry in front of people.
Yeah.
Like it's just something about me. Like I never really share those moments. I would really have to be really hurt, and it just hits me off impulse, and I can't
hurt or really pissed.
Yeah, I can't separate. That's really the only time when I cry the most, when I'm upset. I very rarely cry when sad things happen, like when a lot of people, like have died. I really don't cry off impulse.
I won't
it may
say
take
I
time.
Cry off impulse, but I am an empath, so everything bothers me. Like, I can go on Facebook and I'm nosy as hell, and I get so tapped in. I can see somebody post the two girls that got killed in the did you see that last week? Two girls pulled up to the cousin house. I think this was in North Carolina, maybe Mississippi, somewhere in another state. But two black girls, they pulled up to one of their cousins' house. I don't know how close of cousins they were, but they were sitting on the cousin's car. Mm-hmm. And when she came outside, she kept telling them to get out of her yard. Mm-hmm. So the one girl said, well, put the beam on me. She had a gun, and she was telling them that, she was going to shoot them if they ain't get out of her yard. So she said, well, put the beam on me and show them where you going to shoot me at. She killed both of them. So stuff like that leads me to start going to look at the cousin's page to see, like, well, what cousin was this? Was this a mama child side of the family? Is this the daddy side
I'll
of the family?
be like that too, because I be wanting to understand.
But sometimes I get so invested till I take all that stuff in and it bothers me. So sometimes I have to pull myself back.
I be like that too.
Yeah.
That's why I try not to. I'm learning to. I'm so much of a caring person. I'm learning to disattach from other people's problems.
Yeah, you have to.
I would used to be so invested in other people. Like, I'm that person. You could be going through something with someone, and I feel like that person is taking advantage of you, or you're being the person in me. I'm that ride or die friend. I'm that ride or die son. I'm that ride or die. If I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna, like, to the point where you're gonna be like, oh no. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, you're gonna have to give me that warning that you don't want me to say anything. You don't want me to confront this person, because I'm going there. I'm going so hard for my people, and I have to learn to disconnect. Because
you have to.
People gonna do what they want to do, but they're gonna tell you everything that you should do. And that's another reason why I've learned not to trust anybody else's information except my own, because people will be stupid, or people could like will be living their best life and will tell you or give you advice that really don't mean you no good, and I just really am very, very cautious and sometimes you have to ask yourself where this person's spirit is. I used to have someone who I considered a friend of mine. I've shared so many different of my ideas with her and stuff like that, and I just always got to a point where I just felt like her feedback was so negative about some of the things that I was talking to her about, and I'm like, well, why every time I come to you about ideas and stuff like that, it's just like you have, whether it's about the idea in itself, you probably looking at it as constructive criticism, but my vibes is just like, no, you're saying this from an ill place, like you're trying to control me mentally with, you get what I'm saying, your advice. In a sense, it's like I wouldn't give you that type of advice. I'm not a biased person. I'm gonna give you advice based off what's right, not based off of what I'm going to do, or what I want you to do. Right. I'm just going to give you downright advice. I'm not looking at it like, oh, okay, well, so what? I may not like the other person who you have this issue with, as an example, but I'm not going to be biased about that. If you're wrong, I'm gonna dead ass tell you're wrong. You get what I'm saying? It's not about defending this person or that person.
You should be able to hold the people you care about accountable, and likewise, they should be able to hold you accountable. And sometimes too, you have to realize when people vent or ask for advice, quote unquote, sometimes they just want you to listen and they really don't want the advice, because most of the time they already know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to listen. I mean, and especially if it's a friend. My biggest thing with my friends are, and the same with my friends to me, whatever the issue is, it's always like, I support you in whatever you decide. I feel like everybody have enough going on in their own life where we just don't have time anyway to be invested in, it's weird.
I feel like for me, it be mentally draining.
It is.
Because it's like, for me, and I feel like, and I want to talk about that, like even with following my dreams, sometimes I find myself feeling like, not because I feel like that, it's because I feel like people don't understand what it takes to do what it is that I'm trying to do. I feel like people think it's just supposed to fall out of the air for me. It's like, it's not about, I have to work to make all this stuff happen. I have to work to be able to do this. I have to work to be able to,
because God didn't give him the vision.
And I'm learning to accept that, but I feel like I'm constantly always in a place where I'm having to explain to people like, yo, I gotta work. Like, do you not systematically get that if I don't work, none of this will happen? None of it. Like all of this stuff that I'm talking to y'all about, none of it can happen. It's like, but sometimes I'm often being felt guilty because I don't have time. Like I can't do that. Like I feel like a lot of times, even with my friends, it's like, oh, you acting funny, and you just like, no, I want to do something more than the little bit that we do. Like the smoking and the kicking, it's fine, but don't you want, like, I want to be able to meet up for nice dinners. I want to be able to go on friends' vacations and stuff like that. A couple trip. Like, I'm grown. Fuck that. I'm grown. Let's do couple trips. I want to do things that successful people do, because that's where I've always wanted my life to go. Like, I don't want to be just sitting down in the hood. You get what I'm saying? Just jiving it up and stuff. Like, been there, done that. We did that. You get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm often trying to sell the next level to the people around me.
You can't.
Yeah, I'm realizing
Everybody
that.
due date ain't the same.
I'm realizing that.
Everybody due date ain't the same. Like when God impregnates you with a vision, when God impregnated you with this vision, he didn't impregnate me with this vision. You brought me on, right? And I'm here with you for the ride. But who's to say when it's all said and done, I'ma still be here? You know? Everybody's due date, everybody's timing is not the same. And you can't bring people along. And the people that don't understand that, guess what? I ain't being funny, but I catch you when I'm in the hood. I ain't forget where I came from, but I don't always want to go there. So I catch you when I catch you. And if you can't understand that, then guess what? You ain't a friend. Because I understand my friends hustle. I understand when we have stuff that everybody ain't going to make the event. Because everybody has a life. I got married friends. I got single friends. We all not going to make the same thing. But you got to know that friendship, whenever you do get together, it's like it never was apart. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
how
the ones who
feel,
can't understand that, the ones who feel like you change. Because I heard that too. When I got married, I changed. Well, I ain't supposed to stay the same.
Exactly.
I ain't supposed to stay the same.
Because I wasn't happy.
It's a package deal.
Yeah, you know, like I wasn't happy in that place. It's like
I mean, and it wasn't that I wasn't happy, but now, because first and foremost, happiness come from within. Any additional happiness is just added. It's an extra bonus. So that's another thing. And
for me, it'd be draining. Like that. What I was just talking about. That's the draining part of it for me. I feel like I have to fight for my happiness and my friendship sometimes.
No, don't. Those are not your people. If you gotta fight for it, those are not your people.
I'm getting that.
And don't make yourself feel guilty. If they don't understand that you working, you grinding. One thing about it take money to make money. And everybody know the way the world is going.
I feel like that part I constantly just spend more time.
Yeah.
It's like my dreams and your dreams are different. So my dreams require me to work 24/7 right now. There will be a time, but the way that I'm setting it up, I'm going to be at the top of that, so that I don't have to. That's the reason why I choose not to be at a label. I choose to do things, and I'm setting myself up to be the boss because it's like I want to control every aspect of my life, and every piece of it that I can't control, God got the rest. You get what I'm saying? But I just am at a point where I just want to take 100% control over every aspect of my life. I want to control my break. I want to control my peace time. I want to control all of that, because I feel like I do so much of what everybody else want me to do, and I only do like a percentage of what I want to do. That doesn't feel good for me.
Y'all want to call in and weigh in on the conversation? We have not left y'all. We just having a conversation. Call in at 470-251-4707.
Make sure you hit that line. So, to just wrap that up though. Oh, thank you, TC. First off.
Oh yeah, we got a birthday coming up. What's a birthday without cake and shots? We got cake, cupcakes
coming up,
and shots.
Monday, and my auntie, she brought me a nice little ensemble right here. I'm gonna tear this up. This is really beautiful. Y'all see this? And also, next week is also my producer's Jack's birthday. Shout out to Jack.
All right, happy birthday, Jack.
So, tourist season and stuff like that. But Cinco de Mayo, what to say? Oh, before I forget, shout out to my Uncle Travis. Happy birthday.
Happy
I
birthday,
hope you have an amazing
Travis.
birthday.
Turn up.
Hope it's full of peace and blessings, positive vibes. Turn up for me. Cinco de Mayo. What's your plans for Cinco de Mayo? Do you really celebrate Cinco de Mayo? I've never really gotten into it.
I have before, but it's not something I just have to go out.
I have to work, so
yeah,
it's really, really, really crazy.
But I have in the past. It's fun, but probably nothing.
And Mother's Day coming up, so you know what I'm saying. You know, make sure you guys save up. Go get your mother something nice. I really my birthday, you know, the funny thing about my birthday, sometimes my birthday falls on Mother's Day. My birthday is usually on Mother's Day.
Wow,
this particular year, it did not fall on Mother's Day, thank God. But sometimes I'm having to split my day with my mother and stuff like that. But it's always good and stuff like that. Make sure you guys really, 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 really show your parents some love, especially your moms. You get what I'm saying? We only get one mom. We only get one father. I lost my father when I was 12 years old, you know, so unfortunately, you know, like I have my mom. I have a great, amazing stepdad, you know, by the way, but, you know, it's not the same, but, you know, I love my papa. Shout out to my mom. I don't know where I would be without my mom. I know a lot that I give my mom a hard time and stuff like that, but I definitely would not be the man that I am if it wasn't for my mom. Attitude and all. You get what I'm saying? Like I sometimes I get that lady a lot of flack, but in the words of Tupac, one song that actually two songs that I would dedicate to my mom when I think of my mom is Boys to Men, Soulful, a song for Mama, and Tupac, Dear Mama. The reason why that song resonates to me so much is that line where he say, we both had different daddies, but you know, when things went wrong, we blame mama. You know, so often, you know, growing up, you know, everything that did not go right, you get what I'm saying? It was always, mama did this and mama did that, and it's just still like that. And when I hear that song, I think about that, and I laugh about that. Honestly, me and my mom, we've always had a great relationship, for the most part. My teenage years were a little crazy, you know, and stuff like that, because, you know, the puberty and stuff like that, and I made a few lifestyle decisions, you know, and just the way those situations occurred, you get what I'm saying? We did not have the best time in those teenage years, like in the early teenage years and stuff like that. But me and my mom, we've always been close. Like, my mom's literally my best friend. When people in the streets hurt me, I go to my mom. People in my family hurt me, I go to my mom. You know, like, my mom is like my best friend. Like, I talk to my mom about everything uncut.
At 44 years old, I'm the same way. I call my mom
uncut,
for everything.
talk to her about everything, and I feel comfortable. Some of the conversations we have, people be like, "Oh, you talking to your son?" Like, it was like, no, that's literally my best friend. Right. That's the only person I can trust and just know that she's not gonna judge me.
Solid advice, and
she got my best interest.
Yeah, and best interest ain't gonna go to bad.
I have to stress. That's why you keep hearing me stress. I get a lady a lot of flack, and it's just a man in me. That's just I realize that I get her so much flack, but I really, really, really love my mom, because my mom made me to be strong. You know, like, no homo. As weird as this sound, my mom is the one person that I wanted to be like growing up. Like, and I just mean everything about her. I look at my mom, and she embodies respect. She you know, like, she's strong, you know, and that's all that I know of my mom. So I definitely want to send a shout out to my mom. I want to send a shout out to all of the moms out there on behalf of all the men out there, because without y'all, we are nothing. Like, I feel like women don't get enough credit for the impact that they have in a black man's or in any man's life. The women are truly the backbone of everything that a man does. It's like, yeah, we may be the head of the house and the head of the situation, but they're the next. And you need both.
And on behalf of the women, we thank you.
You know, like, you know, you know, I love a strong woman. You know, I feel like a lot of times a woman's strength sometimes is looked at as a bad thing, but it's nothing wrong with the woman being strong, and it doesn't make her any less feminine just because she's a strong woman. You get what I'm saying? You need a strong woman to build strong men. And I know a lot of times they like to say, oh, well, a woman can't raise no man, but, you know, hey, a strong woman can teach a man how to be a strong man. And that's just my opinion. You know, my mama taught me how to be a strong man. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, she couldn't teach me a lot of the physical stuff that, you know, a male could, but she taught me how to be a strong man. And for me, that's better than being a macho man, a killer, a drug dealer. And then, because, you know, out of all the many men and boys out here, I could genuinely look and say that my mom raised a strong man. My mom raised a man and not a boy. Not a nigga, not a lame, not a dope boy. None of that stuff. I'm me at the end of the day, you know, and I thank my mom for that. I don't have to steal from nobody. I don't have to take nobody's life. And even for those people that to go back to that situation that happened, I can't really see how anyone could physically just wake up or just go about their day and just say that I want to kill. Like, how can you sleep at night wanting to harm somebody or knowing that you've brought harm to someone in that way? If you took in somebody's life, like, how do you sleep at night? I couldn't imagine me taking somebody away from their family and still being able to sleep at night. I can't even get into it with somebody and sleep peacefully. You know, like, I feel like we need to come to some type of resolution. So I just gotta ask, like, how do you sleep well at night when you take someone's life away from their
without reason,
family?
if it's not defending yourself.
And women at that. Like, this guy killed one woman and shot four other women that did not ask to go there, to go through that. And his own mother was there. My heart goes out to his mother because she had to witness that. And a lot of people would probably say, oh, well, it was her son that did it, but she's a human being too. She didn't ask to be there. She didn't ask to be a part of that. You got to look at, if that situation would have went wrong, then she would have had to deal with the fact that her son was killed in front of her. Because they used her to try to help find the guy. You know, they was riding around with her. So what if he put them in a situation due to his mental illness where they had to kill this man, and now she's left hurt? You know, like, I feel, you know, my heart definitely goes out to her that she's put in that situation because she's hurt. But I'm also glad that he's in a situation where now he can get the help that he needs.
I just wish that we could get down to the bottom of the mental illness. It's like, it's so common in today's time.
And the medicine that they give these people.
Yeah, the medicine that I'm almost starting to wonder, like, is it in the food?
Because from what the mother said, it was due to the medicine that he was taking. And I'm like, who prescribed him this medicine? It's just like, they giving us things and you think that it's supposed to help you, but then again it's bringing harm on you. And I feel like if that was the case, that the medicine made him act like that, then someone should be held, someone else should also be held responsible for that, because it's just like, how do you give people things that are supposed to help them and they turn out,
right,
and flip and kill someone, like you. I feel like there should be measures set up. You get what I'm saying? And extreme caution set up to. And no. And from what I heard, I think that they said that the medicine, it was like an addictive type of medicine. But even with that, is no excuse, because it's like, if he needed the medicine, then they should have given him the medicine that he needs to calm him down.
I think what happens too with a lot of those people that suffer from mental illnesses and have to take a lot of different antidepressants and that type of thing, it's like a downer. So a lot of them won't take it because it kind of like makes them sit and be zombies, almost like the kids with the ADD when they take that medication.
Funny story, and I'm not ashamed to say this. I suffer with ADHD. So back when I was in 6th grade, the doctors really pressured my mom. I can attest to you when I say, even with taking the pills a couple of times, like, my mom quickly took me off of them, but I can say this to say, I still somewhat feel the effects, you get what I'm saying, from those pills. Like, it really, really slowed me down a lot. Like, I naturally I'm hyper, like, so everything I do is at fast pace, but mentally and inside of me, I kind of feel like, not to say, but I mean, it's kind of like on a slow level. Like, I kind of feel that way, even though that I know that I'm not, but I kind of feel that way. And it's been like that since I took those. And that's what actually made her stop, because I remember going to school and I was so doped up. I couldn't stay woke. Yeah. I couldn't function. I couldn't like literally, I couldn't do anything. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. The
it's
side
true.
effect. And then remember last week when we were saying that a lot of those people start to result to weed, and then in the weed, it's not
that keeps
the
me
same.
calm. That's the only thing to keep me
calm.
But it's just like you said, you have to be careful with that too.
Be careful where you
I'm
get
a firm
it
believer
from,
that you have to be careful, because it's like, even with the weed, they've been putting little stuff in it, spraying little stuff on it. So I totally agree with you on that. That's why I don't go around to different people. You have to be very careful.
Even with alcohol, like for some people, the alcohol can be a chemical imbalance. So you have to know.
I feel like that's worse when you have a mental issue. The alcohol, I feel like that's worse, especially when they mix it with the medicines. It's always turned bad. But before we get out of here, I do want to say something. Shout out to Andre Dickerson, our mayor, for his quick response. You noticed Governor Kemp won out there, didn't you? It's like, why is it you set these laws up? Before I go out of here, I just want to say this. You set these laws up, and now that all of these things are happening, what are you going to do about it?
Nothing. He's getting
We need a call to action from you.
You won't get it.
There's been another episode of Kickin' in the A Wit Notorious K with my beautiful co-host. Asking for a call of action, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next Thursday.
Peace.